All right, peace and blessings, and welcome to another episode of the Author Spotlight here with Self-Published in 30 Days. I am your host, Rob YB Youngblood, President of Sales for Self-Published in 30 Days, where our focus is on empowering, inspiring, and impacting authors and aspiring authors and helping them to live out their God-given purpose. I'm here with JayCee Ruffin. JayCee is someone that I had the pleasure of meeting in Atlanta back in 2021. She and I share a common community, and I'm hoping she'll talk a little bit about that. But JayCee is a dynamic speaker. She's an author. She's got a lot of other things going on, so she may end up telling you that as well. So JayCee, welcome to the Author Spotlight. How you doing today?
I appreciate you, brother. I'm great, man. It's a great day to be alive and get it done again,
Amen. Amen.
Thank you for having me on this, man. This is
listen. I got a lot of love and respect for you. Some of the things you shared with me when we was in Atlanta for the 120 conference, man, I'll tell you that those things blew me away. I said, you know what?
Wow.
I'm gonna keep my eyes on her. You know what I'm saying? Plus we got a couple of things in common as well. So I'm sure you'll be able to touch on that. But JayCee, do me a favor. Tell us where you're from and give us a little bit about your background.
Oh man, born and raised in the heart of Washington, D.C. by way of PG County. So, there's a little give and take with that. You either from the South Side or you from PG County, but I actually have roots in both. So addresses, in both. So yeah. I can kind of hold on to that. Yeah. But yeah, man, former athlete and my career just didn't do what I wanted it to do. Like most athletes, we all want our story to be the way we want it to be, and we want to be able to walk out on our own terms. And the man upstairs had a different plan. Mm-hmm. So now, now I get to actually share all of the details about that, and we're gonna get into that today.
I love it. So it's funny that you start off that way, right? Because so I'm originally from New York, right? So I'm from the Bronx.
Okay.
So when I came down to Richmond, Virginia to go to college at Virginia Union, I always find people that say they was from DC, right? And it wasn't until like years down the line that I learned not everybody's from DC, right? Nah, so you gotta ask, you gotta go a little deeper, right? So I love the fact that you mentioned, South, what is it? It's Southeast?
Southeast, yeah.
Southeast. PG County, right? So you on the line right there, right?
Yeah.
But I would meet cats that they say, "Oh, I'm from Woodbridge, or I'm from Lawton." I'm like, bro, you're not from. That's not DC. That's
Northern
Virginia. You in Northern Virginia. So that's like when people say, "I'm from, let's say, Westchester County," or "I'm from Schenectady."
Okay,
you're not from New York. You from upstate New York. You from Schenectady. So the fact that you can say that, that's dope. But I will say though, if I close my eyes and I hear you speak, I hear a little bit of Baltimore twang in you as well.
Oh man,
you got that. Yeah. You got the little.
It has.
You got the do and the two.
It has grown on me.
Just a little bit.
It's growing on me because I am currently an on-air personality. Be More's 92Q. So when you've been around the people with the two and the through, and Avenue start pulling up on you.
That's right. Come on. So shout out to everybody that's watching this that's from the DMV, right? And a lot of folks that's not from DMV, they think that all of Virginia is a part of the DMV. They're not. Right, Central Virginia does not claim DMV, not for anything negative, but Central Virginia has its own culture, just like Hampton Roads, just like Southwest Virginia. So that's pretty dope. So tell us a little bit about your journey. So obviously you grew up in the DC PG County area. What did you do after you left high school? Like, I mean, was you playing ball in high school? Did you play ball in college? Tell us a little bit about that backstory.
Yeah, man. So I was the only player on my high school team that actually wanted to pursue collegiate basketball. Oh. I was one of 6 seniors that graduated back in 2009 from Friendly High School. And I actually, I considered myself the star. Everybody considers themselves the star, but my stats actually says I was the star.
That's right. That's the only thing that matters is stats.
Set the records for 3-pointers and assists. So, and then I actually held the record for 3-pointers for 7 weeks straight over men and women in the county, in Prince George's County back in 2009. So that was something that I still hold deep to me. And, it's ironic that we started my high school career because you would think we're having all of these accolades. And, oh, by the way, I was always a good student. I won't say I was a brainiac. Right. But I did enough to stay on the court, of course, and, held positions in office for student government. So I was the senior class vice president. And I also ran the audiovisual tech crew in high school. I was always active. I was in the drum line. I was drum captain when I was a senior in high school. So I did a lot of different things to stay active on top of running track, but ball was my life. And when I put so much into it and being able to not see the fulfillment of it because I had some coaches that just didn't, agree with what I saw. I wasn't the star athlete in the building, but I was the star athlete on the team. I came out of the high school with the likes of Joe Hayden, who plays for Pittsburgh Steelers, right? So I went to school with I call him Jay. Everybody knows him as Joe, right? I went to school with all of them, Jay, Josh, Jordan, right? So and I got to see what it was like. Flash was playing, and I had so many other Raheem Vick, so many other great athletes that came out of Friendly High School back then, and I just knew that because I was in an area that produced so much talent that I would have an opportunity to still be able to be just as important as these other players, if not, at least in the same category or same conversation. And that just didn't happen for me. My coach and athletic director was the same person. And she just didn't help me pursue anything in the collegiate background. So I never saw my offers that were offered to me. Never had the conversations with coaches that were talking and trying to recruit me. And so I had to kind of pursue this thing on my own, which is typically what happens in an athlete perspective that doesn't have a solidified or strong athletic department coming out of high school, because you don't know specifically how to actually go and talk to these college coaches without having to deal with all of the paperwork and getting the approvals and the NCAA clearinghouse and all these other different things that come with it. You're like, yo, what is happening? Like, how much paperwork do I have to say hello? Like, high school just high school was great. And then it went bad fast. It went really bad fast.
Yeah, it's amazing because what I found is that when someone has to overcome adversity, they have two options. They either press past or they give up. And clearly you haven't given up, right? No. So clearly you've been able to overcome and push yourself through. Talk a little bit about that transition. Obviously you had to, learn about these different things in terms of getting into to collegiate sports on your own. What was your college years like? Where did you go to college? What did you experience while you was going to college? I'm going to set you up because I know we got some folks that listen that can relate to you. We got a lot of athletes and a lot of other leaders that have graced this stage. So you're a part of that as well. So talk a little bit about what your college years was like, and then I want to get into what prompted you to become an author.
Yeah, so I attended Elizabeth City State University first. There's a timeline to all of this. Okay? So I started at Elizabeth City State University. They were always my safe school. I say that because my dad graduated from there, aunts, uncles, cousins, all of them crossed and pledged, Greek letter organization, a Black Greek letter organization. Let me say it that way. And so, when I went there 2 weeks before going to Elizabeth City, I had finally had some contact back in the summer with the coach at Elizabeth City State University. And as I was communicating with her 2 weeks, I was coming back on campus 2 weeks before school started to finally meet her, sit down and go over some things and see if I was going to actually be able to, still have an opportunity to play. And 2 weeks before school started, she lost her position. And so anybody that knows how coaches work and athletic departments work, if you ain't in the door, even if you are in the door, that don't mean you have a guaranteed spot, because they didn't recruit you. So their obligation towards you is a little different.
That's right.
And so if they don't have any history on you, they'd rather just clean house and start over and say this was their fault for doing whatever they did, but they at least can say that they had it their way.
Right.
And so, I went to Elizabeth City, stayed there for a year. I was going to try out, but the interim head coach that they selected decided not to do tryouts that year. He wanted to just revamp the team. for where it was, because at the time the team was 4-22.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, listen, I know I ain't a whole team, but I know I can do something.
Yeah, you can do something. You can do something with it. Yeah.
There's something that can happen at this point that I know I can have an effect in, where we not gonna still be 4-22.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, absolutely. Right?
Absolutely. And so coming from out of that, being that we didn't have it, I had to stay active. Like, I couldn't let go of the game. I'm still on college campuses, or on a campus, I should say. And it was just like, yo, not playing for the first time consistently. You're like, what do you do? So there was an intramurals team that happened, and I actually made the team, practice with everybody. And as I was practicing, I was actually playing for the assistant coach now for the girls basketball team. Okay. So I'm thinking like, okay, if I show out, this can transition into something that I'm actually looking forward to. And so we played at 2 tournaments in 2 different seasons. So the fall semester and the spring semester. And we played at Norfolk State and North Carolina State. I had won MVP for both tournaments. Okay. Bringing us back. We were down like 20 at half and went to overtime and came back and won by like 10, and it was like, run me my trophy, right? Like, But in a more serious part of it, even though all of these things took place, I still never got the connection. The assistant coach never said anything to the head coach. Right. So I'm thinking, as a person, I was that kid. You had to kick me out of the gym, man. I put my bed in there. They asked me which building did you want to stay in? I was like, the gym. They got a bed in there. Like, I put me at half court, right? Because I was never gonna leave. And so after that first year, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what's going to happen. So I go back my sophomore year for a fall semester, and I'm still at Elizabeth City and having conversations with the coach. He said he was going to finally give me a shot. I try out, and it was almost like it was formality. I was like, okay. Right. In my opinion, it felt like it was formality because I have enough track record now, played a whole year on the intramurals team with somebody that's on your staff. They've seen me actually play at this point. So they know what the capability is. I won't lie, during the tryout, it's like doing an interview for your job, your dream job. You're kind of like just hoping that everything falls, or hoping that everything goes right. I won't sit here and say that everything went right on my behalf, but I did believe that I had enough of a track record that could speak for itself, even if this didn't go well. So everybody has an off day, and I guess that was just part of my situation. And I never got a call. Got a call. And it kind of threw me off because I was like, okay, I'm paying at the time $26,000 out of state. Right. And I came out of PG public schools. So there was no, in DC, they get like that $5,000 a semester to help them. So it's $10,000 a year. PG was like, your mom make too much money, dog. Your parents, both your parents make too much money. You just go ahead. This is what you can pay according to. And I was, no, we can't. Like,
that's right. No, where you think that's coming from? Come on.
Where? From who? Like, it's 2 kids at this point, right? So, as you have these moments, it's like, I was like, yo, I gotta get out of here. I can't be here. I'm not hooping. There's nothing here for me. Like, why am I even still here? And I went to, I called my mom and told her, I was like, yo, if I'm not hooping and I'm out of state and we're paying out of pocket, I don't need to be here. So I considered coming back home and going to Bowie State. And I had a friend that was already playing on the team, and hit her up, and we got cool through the past, and hit her up, and when she was like, yo, just come work out with me one Saturday before practice starts. And I was like, all right, cool. So it was a weekend. I came home and met her in the gym. We was in the gym at 8:00. We went for like 2 hours straight, nonstop, just doing any and everything, putting our bodies on the line. And she still had practice at 10.
At 10,
But she was in the military, so she
she understood. She ain't had no problems with 2 a days, 3 a days. They was getting it in every day, all day.
Not at all. All day long. Like, that was like her way of letting go everything at that point. So I was just like, yo, what is happening? So so we go and we practice, and towards the end of our session that we were doing, all of the coaches walk in. And they just stand there and look. And she walks over to me and says, yo, those the coaches. Like, yo, what up?
Right.
And so I was like, all right. And so my brother actually came with me to help, be a passer for both of us at the session. So it actually worked out. So he was like, yo, all right, so we're gonna, it's a drill, and there's multiple names for it, but it's I go, you go. And so basically wherever the first person shoots, you go and you mimic the same situation and you pull up from that particular situation.
Right.
And oh man, they chose to make it hard on me. I'm dead leg 2 hours and we're doing 3-pointers.
Come on.
So I'm like, all right, here we go. And I mean, when I say I probably missed all of 2 shots.
Right. Come on.
And we did that drill at least 2 minutes, like nonstop. I mean, my legs were gone.
Done, like jelly.
Just, let me sit down, please. Yeah. And at the time, also remembering that this is now 2011, I believe. So at this point, being that it's 2011, you're like, yo, like I don't have
that much time. Yeah, that time.
I don't have that time, and I don't have the body from when I came out of high school. I'm sitting still. My energy is not as high anymore, so I'm not playing every day. So I don't like my metabolism has like fluctuated at this point, right? And you went down south, went down school. I went to the south.
Yeah. You was in the south. So you was in Elizabeth City. So for those who don't know, because a lot of people say, where's Elizabeth City? What's that?
Not Jersey.
Not Jersey. That's not Jersey, right? But we're talking about North Carolina. So it's about an hour, 90 minutes from Norfolk.
So roughly? It's about an hour and a half. Yeah. Well, depends on the day. You can get there in 45 if you take
well, true. Depending on who's driving. That's why I tell people. People say, how long it take you to get to Virginia Beach? I said, depending on who's driving.
Max.
It might take you about good 2, good for an hour 45, depending on who's driving. So through that situation, right? So you made it to Elizabeth City, made the transition. So you transitioned. Now, did you end up going to Bowie or did you end up somewhere else?
So at the end of us working out, the coaches walked up to me and asked me like, yo, do you go here? And I was like, not yet. I said, I'm waiting on my paperwork to clear. Yeah. And they was like, all right, well, the first day you get here, you come to my office. My office is upstairs and, just come see me. I said, all right, cool. Yeah. So I'm on a high at this point. I'm on a high. Yeah. I'm like, all right, like, what we talking about now, right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, so paperwork comes, so I'm actually had to go back to Elizabeth City. I still hadn't like disenrolled yet.
Right.
A student at
you was jumping on the boat that was leaving, but hold up, I got to get my stuff off the other boat. I got
exactly. Yeah. So I'm still in Elizabeth City, and then 2 weeks later, I get my acceptance letter from Bowie. I called my mom, and my mom, and I believe it was my grandmother or somebody came and picked me up. We packed up my whole room that day. I disenrolled, and by that Wednesday, I was enrolled at Bowie State University. Nice. And on that very first day, I went and saw Coach. Nice. And she was like, look, I can't guarantee you like no scholarship, nothing like that. She said, but I do believe you have something that I can have value to my team. Nice. And I believe that you should, just stick around, keep working out, stay in shape. And, just stay around. I said, okay, cool. So and I got cool with everybody. So they gave me access to the gym because my homegirl was still on the team. So it was like, all right, cool. So now I'm actually being able to shoot and run on college level lines, which are a whole different from high school. You got that extra
whole other level.
Yeah, man, that extra level. 10 feet will get you. Okay. Yeah, and so, just being able to stay as active as possible. And by the time I transferred in, so this is now the spring of 2011. So when I started transition, it was the spring of 2011. That's what it was.
Okay.
And so this is January 2011 at this point. And about 4 months later, right, I'm staying in shape, I'm being around, I'm doing everything. About 4 months later, I flew to Durham. So little known fact, I was on the bowling team for Elizabeth City State University.
What?
Yes. I can still shoot a little bit, just a little bit.
Come on.
And I was on the bowl. So championships were happening in Durham. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not officially on the team, so I still was able to move however I wanted to. So I flew to Durham to go see some old friends, old teammates. And as I'm landing at RDU Airport, my phone, I turn it back on and it's going nuts. Ding, 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 ding. Text messages coming crazy. I'm like, what is happening? Call me now. Call me ASAP. Like, call me now.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. So I put a phone. I'm like, yo, hello. This is my teammate. Like that. Basically my teammate, right?
Yeah.
So my homegirl that played, she called me and she's just like, yo, I got something to tell you. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, coach ain't the coach no more.
Oh man.
I'm like, wait, hold on. What'd she say? She's like, yeah. She's like, so the new AD that just got hired didn't want people having two positions because the head coach was also the director of compliance.
Right.
So instead of taking her away from director of compliance, because there was already two people that was running that, and leaving her in the head coaching position, he took away the head coaching position and gave it to the guy who had just got hired a year before. Like when I was transitioning in, it was also becoming his first year too.
Right.
So he hadn't even been there that long and got the position. And I'm sitting here like, okay, come to find out later on down the line, that was his boy. So, okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's how it always work out.
It's kind of how it happens. And so, yeah, man. So it kind of made me feel like this ain't going to work. Like immediately, because it took me right back to Elizabeth City. I was like, yo, I've been through this already. I know what this is. Like, and of course, I believe in life and death is in the power of the tongue. But in that instant, like it was just kind of like, yo, I've been here before. Like, I know where this leads. And she's like, no, listen to me. He immediately asked me about you and was like, yo, is Shorty still staying? Because he used to call me Shorty. And he's like, yo, is she still staying? And he's like, he was like, yo, if she is, tell her come holler at me. So I was like, all right. So that whole weekend, I'm stressed out. Like, I'm supposed to be like, chill, see friends. That whole weekend, I'm like,
your mind ain't even there. Your body's in RDU, but your mind is up in Bowie.
Very much so. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, all right, cool. So that I come back home, I go see the coach. Coach is like, yo, I think you special. I think you got something, and I just want you to stick around. Same thing I heard. When I got it, I was like, okay, cool. So I kind of didn't pay it any attention, like I was grinding. Like, I mean, I was doing agility at a local high school in the area, and with the head coaches there. And then I was still working out at the gym, and I would even get sessions in with the guys. Like I was hustling. Like I was like, yo, I have to get back in shape. I got to get back to where I was. And on top of that, he made it mandatory for those who wanted to be a part of the team. You had to come on Sundays and do open gym. Wow. So I was like, all right, bet. Like now, little known fact, I grew up in the church. So it was a little weird because you couldn't do nothing without going to church. So if you didn't go to church first,
you ain't doing nothing.
You ain't doing that. So I had to go to church, and I had to tell my man, I was like, yo, listen, unless this is an organized, synchronized, like scheduled game, I'll be a little late sometimes because I got to go to church, and then I can come hoop. So oh, I was like, all right, cool. So he was like, all right, I understand. So I came in there, I was going crazy. Like I mean, even because his daughter was on the team, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna bust you too."
Like, I'm gonna take her spot.
Yeah. Go ahead, don't run me that, because it's no scholarship guaranteed to me. Right. It wasn't even a position guaranteed to me. Like, so I'm still in prove me point. Like,
you fighting for your career right now. You fighting for
very
your
much so, very much so. So I stayed there. And in the fall, so this is all summer long. I'm still doing so. In the fall, we're about to start up, and we still was doing open gyms and still doing so I've literally been with the team for almost a year at this point. It's like maybe about 7-8 months now. Right. So about August, late September is when, preseason is about to start. And the coach walks up to me. I'm in the gym. We just got out of open gym session, and he hands me this piece of paper, and I look at the paper and it says preseason workout schedule. And I was like,
come on.
Like, all right. Okay.
We in there. That's right.
Like,
we in there. Come on.
But listen, let me tell you something. I probably was the only person in the world happy to do preseason.
Oh yeah.
Because anybody that knows, if listen, preseason is the time to get you in shape. Practice is the time to just go through what you already know.
That's right.
So most athletes, they can't about a month and a half. It's like, yo, don't talk to me, dog. I've been up since like 4. Like I'm tired, right? And you're doing that consistently for a month and a half, almost about 30 days guaranteed. You're gonna do a 4 a.m. workout, 5 a.m. workout. You're up early for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was just excited to be able to get invited. So I did the paperwork, did the preseason, not the paperwork, did the preseason, did the workout, and I was like, all right, cool. And so out of formality, I still had to try out because I wasn't technically a part of the team. So about 4 days after, about 3 to 4 days after the last day of preseason was tryouts. So I'm not paying it really no mind because I'm like, yo, I've been working out with these guys. They've seen me. Like, they know what's up. Like, they know I can hoop. Like, I'm not, what we talking about?
Yeah.
So I still went in with the mindset of like going ahead and do it. And so it was the weirdest thing because he had the actual team at the tryout. Doing the tryout.
Okay.
Like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Especially for a Division II.
Yeah.
Never seen that before. And so when I did it, I was like, all right. And then for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, and it could have been because of going from different places, different, terrains or whatever.
Right.
For some reason, my shins started killing.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, all right, let me kind of pace this, see where we at. So I sat down for a little bit and then I got back up and I just started running because I was just like, yo, I can't let this be how this goes,
right?
Even though I've done all of this. And so after the tryout, brings everybody together, and he told me, he was like, yo, shorty, just sit, you good, just sit down. I'm like, all right. I'm like, nah, I just need to get up. Like, nah, yo, chill.
Yeah.
So the team goes back to the locker room. He talks to all the people that was trying out, and he's like, all right, if it's something, if we feel like you're a fit, we'll call you. So
right.
I'm already thinking I'm going to get a call because I've done everything with these people.
Yeah.
So I talked to probably about a couple of weeks later, season, well, not even a couple of weeks, about a week later, the season starts for, like actual, like you're in season mode now.
Yeah.
Man, I still hadn't heard from him.
Right.
And I'm like, hold on. What's going on here?
Well, he kind of gave you the code though, right? He kind of gave you the code. He said, if there's anything that's gonna happen, we gonna call you, right? It's like, dude, you should already know. You should already made up your mind.
I mean, and I think because out of formality, like it was the same thing, and I never thought about it because the same thing had been said for everybody.
For everybody,
like,
yeah.
I've heard that for even in high school, you either saw your name on a list or you got a phone call. So it for me, it didn't trigger wrong because it was like, all right, it ain't different. Like it's nothing different. I've heard this before. So so about a month went by. Well, not even a month. He told me, he said, I want you to heal up in the back, get with the trainers, heal up your shins, get ready for conference play. I said, okay, cool. So this was like a week later. So conference play is different from the exhibition games. All the exhibition games, you have to deal with teams that are out of your conference or different tournament games or whatever. But for me, like I had chemistry with the team already, but I still felt like gameplay chemistry was always something that you couldn't fabricate. You
can't make it up. You gotta put in that work.
Man, look, the Lakers
you gotta
today,
get the reps in. Yeah, you gotta get the reps
Lakers today are the prime example of chemistry is everything.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so, not being able to do those games, I kind of didn't push it past, but I was like still staying in shape, staying ready. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so come January, my first game is supposed to be January 24th, 2012. Never forget it.
Yeah.
Inside the AC Jordan Arena at Bowie State University.
Come on.
This guy, I'm sitting on the sideline with another person who he had to wait until her waivers got cleared.
Right.
So we're both talking like, yo, we on the sideline giving them hell. Like, yo, y'all ain't pulling that on us. Just wait. Y'all not doing that on us. So I'm like, okay. And I sit back and I'm like, okay, what is happening? Like, how are we going about making this make sense? Like, what are we doing? So at the end of the game, let me backtrack. Before the game started, I called my parents and told them, yo, I need y'all to come up here because I'm still not playing today.
Right.
And at this point, I'm like, all right, I don't know what's happening, but something ain't
clicking. It's not clicking. Yeah.
At all. And man, I called them. They stayed at the game. They lost the game. So I was like, yo, what are you doing? Now, here's a tidbit that I always love to tell. It was only 7 people on the team.
Oh, you serious? Come on.
On a 15-man roster,
Are you serious?
roster. Let me say that way. Right? So there's no way on God's green earth you can tell me you ain't got no spot.
You ain't got no spot, man. We got
on
some
a college
spots.
team.
Yeah.
So I go on the back after the game and I talk to the coach. I say, yo, can we talk? He's like, yeah, shut the door, shorty. What's good?
Yeah.
Talking to me like, like everything's all right. And I'm sitting there looking at this man like, hey, yo.
Yeah.
What we talk about? Like, what you mean was good?
Yeah.
So I asked him, I said, coach, you told me to get ready for conference play. Today was the first day. So I'm just where we at with it.
Yeah.
And in the G-rated version of it, he was like, yo, this mess is shattered. And I wanna build around you next year. Hold on. Wait.
What?
Wait, what? Like immediately I'm like, huh? And I'm stuck. I don't even know if I processed what he said.
Right.
Because I'm like in my head playing all of these different moments of how I have given everything.
Everything, yeah.
And I told him, I said, okay, well, at the end of all of that soliloquy that he gave me, I was like, okay, well, listen, my parents are here. So do you mind, like...
why don't you break it down for them? Like, tell them what you told me. Yeah. Run that by them. Let them. Let them hear.
I don't know if I can do this justice at this point. Absolutely. So I brought them in. We shut the door, and it was just like it went from it went from the point of we want to build the team around her next year to now. Well, we never told her she was going to make the team. Like we only told her she was going to make the team if somebody got hurt. Wait a minute, hold on. You are hurt. You have 7 people.
You got 7 people. We riding low.
What are we talking about? First of all, that was never said to me. Let me clarify that.
Right.
That was never said to me. Why would that be said to me and I'm doing preseason? Like, what? I'm confused. You invited me.
Yeah.
So it got heated. It got heated very badly.
Yeah.
My dad was not a happy man that day.
I bet.
Because my dad used to coach me like all my life. So he's seen like the work ethic. I mean, I was the kid that didn't have a basketball court at one point. And so I learned how to shoot free throws by shooting at a brick. And you had to hit the same brick.
Right.
So my father was willing to sacrifice the bricks on the house for me to play basketball.
Well, that's not. But here's what's amazing, and I'm appreciative that you're sharing this amount of content and story because and I definitely need to let my daughter, my youngest daughter, hear this because she plays middle school basketball. But I was telling my wife because we had a chance to travel some time ago to New Orleans and. I took them to see the Pelicans play the Cleveland Cavs, and my youngest daughter, who's supposed to be the baller, she's like into other things. I'm like, so I whispered to my wife's ear. I said, "Yeah, this is probably not her thing," because kind of like when you said, like you wanted to live in the gym, like just give me a bed and let me sleep at half court. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So the fact that you had this in your blood, you know what I'm saying, you had this in your spirit, you had this, you had this gift of being able to play. I'm sure it was disappointing. How did you leverage the adversity from obviously the high school transition and now you're at 2 different colleges? How did you leverage that for like what you got into for becoming an author? Talk about your author transition. Let's hear your author story.
So it's funny because I have to say this one particular part in order for it to make sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So after Bowie, I tried one more time.
Okay.
And you're gonna this one gonna hit a little home for you.
Okay.
Because the last transition was Virginia Union University.
Woo!
And So I never told anybody what I was getting ready to do.
Okay.
And actually, I didn't even know I was going to do it. So my mom and dad were married in the state of Virginia, so she needed a copy of the marriage license and also my grandfather's birth certificate because he had just passed away.
Right.
And so she said, "Well, take this ride with me." So we had to drive to Richmond. And anybody that knows is in the capital. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's Richmond, Virginia. All right.
Yeah.
So we had to go to Richmond and go to Vital Records.
2 up, 2 down. Let's go. RVA. Let's go. I represent. I'm not from here though. I gotta let people know.
By way of.
Because folks will start asking me. They say, "Hold up, bro, where'd you go to high school?" And then I'm like, "Oh, no, I gotta tell you all those stuff."
Don't you hate that? You just gotta.
I love, man, with a passion. But it keep me honest though. It
very much so will. It very much so will. So we had to go to Vital Records. We got the paperwork. My mother said, "Hey, you ever been to Virginia Union?" I said, "No." What do I need to go there for? Yeah. She's like, "Well, see how far it is from here." It literally was the next exit. So she's like, "All right, you want to go?" And I was like, "All right, whatever." At this point, I'm so defeated. I'm depressed. I've lost it. I don't even want to go down this road again. I literally heard a man tell me, "You'll never be good enough to touch the floor." Ooh. And like the coach from Bowie told me this. Like after that in that same meeting of what happened that same night, he said that, like, your daughter will never be good enough to touch the floor. And so at this point, hearing it from what was as coaches, when you're like the parents to the kids. Yeah. So when you're hearing basically another parent tell you like, "Yo, you're trash," like you're like, "Wait, what?" Yeah. So my mom was like, "Yo, let's go." So I went to Virginia Union, pulled up on campus. What I didn't know was she had a little trick up her sleeve because the head coach at the time of Virginia Union was also one of the coaches that was trying to recruit me to play for JUCO at Prince George's Community College. So I was like, but I was like, "Yo, I'm too."
Who was the coach? You got me on suspense mode now. Who's the coach?
Ah, man, I can't.
You can't give it to me. Okay,
I can't. Hey,
listen, you give it to me. Give it to me offline. We'll
we can do that. We can probably do that. Yeah, we can probably do that. We can probably do that. But real good person still to this day. So I went down there. We pulled up, and her coach and the coach's car was outside, and I was like, "Yo, I bet, like, whatever. I'm not really interested." But my mom was like, "Yo, let's see." Right. Pulled up. The lady called coach. Coach was, Coach was like, she wasn't in her office, but she about to walk down. So, all right, cool. Right. So we walked down. I'm waiting for her to walk down. We told her don't tell her who it was because we wanted to surprise her. Because this lady also went to my church. Ooh. And she knew me. Like, she knew me. So when she see it, she like, "Yo, what y'all doing here?" Like, "Yo, come on, let's take a walk." So we go back to the office. Yeah. So we start talking. And I tell her everything that's going on and, what's going on and how I'm not playing. And she's like, "Wait, what? You're not playing? What are you talking about?" So as we're talking and we're going down the logistics of what happened, and she had some info that I didn't even know about. And I was like, "What?" So it started making a lot more sense as to what happened at Bowie compared to, So I was like, "All right, cool." So as she's talking, she reaches in this on the right file cabinet drawer. Never forget it. She reaches down, she goes just like this, and then she pulls it up, and she hands me this piece of paper, put it on the desk, and at the top of it, it says "Student Recruitment Questionnaire Form." Ooh. And I was like, "Wait, huh?" Yeah. So I'm officially being recruited going into my junior year of college.
Yeah. Come on.
So I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. So now I'm hyped. Like everything in my body just got rejuvenated. It was like taking the vitamin C that I needed. Right. That's right. So I said, okay, so we filled it out. And she said, "All right, listen, you deserve to be playing. So let's see what you still got. So give me about 30 days and I'll call you and let you know. We're going to match you up with somebody else that we're also interested in." Right. And, let's just see we'll see where it goes from there. I said, "All right, cool." I ain't ask her for nothing. No. I didn't even want to go.
No, didn't want to even go. That's right. Wasn't even expecting it.
Right.
Wasn't even expecting it.
So this is how the transition happens. So 30 days later, I get the phone call and the tryout was about 2 weeks after the call. After the call, right. So I said, okay, cool. So I go, I try out. And I'm a smart basketball player. Now I know I'm not completely back in shape at this point. Yeah. But I'm in enough shape to show you I got enough heart, I got enough talent, and give me some time. I promise you, like you gonna get a return on your investment.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And there was a point in the process of this workout that we were doing, and the girl they was matching me up with, we played 2-on-2 with the team's 2 best guards, the starting guards.
Yeah.
And we beat them.
Mm.
But the most thing that they were impressed with was the fact that when it got tough, I was like, yo, hold on. Move this way. And I started coaching.
So you was giving them that knowledge.
I was helping the girl that's also trying out for the spot that I'm trying out for.
Right.
All you saw was everybody's face go.
Right. Like, why's she doing that? Like, why would you help? Why would you help your competition?
So, but what they didn't know was I was tired as heck.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
So I was like,
you was playing mental judo though. You was like, you know what I'm saying? My body's gone, but my mind ain't gone. I got to show them. Yeah,
very much so. So after the tryout, they let us sit. And the other reason why I was really excited about this tryout was because the girl that I was playing in high school with, we were known as the dynamic duo. And she had just transferred to Virginia Union.
What? Come on.
So when I walked in the door, she was like, "Oh,
yeah.
She was hyped.
She was hyped. Let's go.
So we get in there. They offer me a verbal commitment to come to Virginia Union.
Nice.
Okay, fast forward. I'm hyped. I'm like, all right, I ain't telling nobody.
Yeah.
Because I don't want nobody to ruin this.
That's right. We don't want no repeats of what we've been. Yeah, we don't want no repeats.
30 days later, I got a phone call that I was waiting on to confirm everything. And the phone rings. I'm sitting in my room. I'm in my apartment, still as a student on Bowie State's campus.
Yeah.
Answer my phone. I'm like, yo, hey, coach, what's going on? It's like, yo, what's going on, Jay? How are you? I was like, I'm good. I said, yeah, I heard y'all took an L. I said, but don't worry about it. We're going to get that back when I get there. She's like, yeah, that's what I was calling to tell you about. So I miscalculated my red shirts. And I thought I was looking for a guard, but I'm looking for a post player. And so I won't be able to actually offer you what we, have extended. And I wanted to know if there was any other team that was, that you were looking to go to. I'm crying at this. I'm bawling on the phone. And I didn't know I didn't know what to do. Like I had been shattered 3 times in my dream.
Yeah, that's a tough deal.
The same day that call happened, I had about a couple of months back, there had been some incidents that happened on campus, and I was a part of helping with CAB, which was known as Campus Activity Board.
Okay.
Most schools, they might know them as like student activities.
Yeah.
And so I helped playing a student versus staff basketball game. And I got asked to be one of the hosts. I had never hosted before. I never done any of that.
Come on.
The same day I got the call that stopped my athletic career, started my hosting career.
Come on.
I didn't know what was happening that day.
Yeah.
And I was still defeated. I was hosting unconsciously.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know what was like. I had no fear that day.
Yeah.
Because everything in me was hurt. Like I was numb.
Yeah. You was numb. Yep.
Halftime of that game, my former coach, if you will, at Bowie walks up to me and said, yo, I heard you going down Virginia. Said, talk to the coach. Told him, yeah, we shouldn't have no problems. So he blocked my scholarship offer, and she rescinded because of what he said to her. Now, the confirmation. Now this is not hearsay. This is not something I'm guessing about.
No.
This is something that I pulled up on the coach from Virginia Union about a year later and asked her, because the team was asking, yo, why are you not playing? Like I had developed a relationship with the team at Virginia Union already.
Right.
And they was hyped for me to come.
Yeah.
And my teammate was already playing there. So she was like, what's going on?
What's going on? Yeah.
So the transition happened because of my demise.
Wow.
And so my first book that I ever wrote was called Reality Sold Separately.
Okay.
And it was a motivational quote book and health tip book, because I didn't know how to stop talking about what happened without feeling a burden on people. Because I didn't have anybody to talk to. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. I had no ungodly idea as to what was getting ready to happen.
Well, that was trauma, though. If you think about it, I mean, you know, it's like false promises, right? You want to do something that you love. People tell you that, you know, they give you accolades, right? You're doing your thing in high school. So like, hey, I'm holding my own. Yep. I get to this foreign land, you know, obviously you start out Elizabeth City and then Bowie and then people at Union. So you go through this trauma. So that's really what you was facing, because something you had hopes for was literally snatched, not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yes.
But you know what I'm saying? Now you talked about the church aspect, so I'm gonna have to say this, right? But God, right?
Right.
But God,
right. Very much so.
Opens up the door for you to get connected to a greater purpose.
Yep. Very much so. And I didn't know, of course, you never know where you're going in this process. You just know you're going somewhere. You don't know if it's a stagnation. You can always tell stagnation, but you can always tell when you're growing. And the only thing about that is when you're growing, you don't know that you're growing if you're hurt.
Oh, come on. Drop that. Break that down for me. Break that down for me.
So as it happens, and I say this because, so as my career started happening, like I did this one event and when I was still at Bowie, but I didn't want to stay there because I just didn't want to stay. Like I was like, yo, I'm not hooping. I know I'm good enough to play on this team. I can't watch this. Like I got to go. So I transferred back to Elizabeth City.
What?
My transfer back to Elizabeth City, the not only was the chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, which is Delta Chi at Elizabeth City, they was so happy because I ended up becoming a member. So they wanted me to, you know, they want me back home because you know all my aunts and cousins and all them that came
back home.
I'm coming home. It's like it's a homecoming for a homecoming, right? So as I'm going back, they like, yo, Jay back. Yo, Jay, all you heard was, yo, Jay's back. Like, that's all you heard. So many people were so excited because I was so hurt when I left.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I was very petty and very ignorant what I did. I took a picture in my Bowie State shirt across the street from Elizabeth City's campus and was like, see y'all later.
Oh, man.
Yeah, when I transferred to Bowie, I was
you lit the ship on fire. You burning bridges. You burning bridges.
I didn't care at that point. Young, dumb, and learning, right?
Yeah.
So I say what I say when you're growing and you don't know specifically that you are, you can go somewhere and you're hurt and you'll never understand how far you've been.
Right.
And because of the fact that I was growing and didn't know it because I was so hurt because the one thing that I wanted to do was not the plan that God had. It was just what like, yo, what am I doing? Like I feel unaccomplished because it's not my plan.
Yeah.
And so now I'm getting back to Elizabeth City and I'm the on-campus host now. Hold on. I've never hosted before.
Right.
Like that one time was it. Now I'm the on-campus host to the point that a month after that happens, I'm getting booked. I made my first $1,500 as a junior at Elizabeth City State University to host a comedy show. I got paid in college.
Yeah.
Like, hold on. The place that got me debt.
Yeah.
Is also paying me too.
That's paying you. They putting money in your pocket. What? Come on, man. Hey, but hold up. I don't want nobody to miss this though. This is a gym.
Yeah.
This is a gym, right? Because what I often tell people is that while you have to make a significant investment to be in college is also a business. So if you understand what your gift is, you can literally generate cash flow or revenue or capital, whatever you want to call it, at the same place that you have to pay to be at. So therefore you get college to pay for you. Like basically, you know what I'm saying? So that's good. That's good. Yeah. Keep telling me more, man. Cause I need people to hear this.
Yeah, basically, man, it was crazy. And so, I graduated in 2014. By the time I had graduated, I had served as the campus host. I had hosted like 2 to 3 different major collegiate events, so like concerts, step shows, homecomings, all of that. On top of that, I did a monthly event on campus hosting and I mean, when I say packed out, standing room only, people standing at the door trying to get in, like this.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, like, so every event, if people heard I was hosting, they was coming. Like my name carried on my campus till this day. Like till this day, if they hear I'm hosting, people still come.
Love it.
And so it's a blessing because, you know, to be that person that comes from the city and goes to a small market, you can still fall flat. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. And then if you make it in a small market, can you make it in a big market?
Right.
And so, and the blessing part is that I had the option of understanding how to work both markets.
Yeah.
Went to a school that's in a small market, but I grew up in a top 10 market.
That's right.
Like, so in DC. So, you know, it's one of those things that I had a lot of things going for me and didn't realize that I did.
Yeah.
And by the time I graduated in 2014 from Elizabeth City, I was able to actually, I had a professor who sent me an email after I graduated and was like, yo, I think you'd be good for this. It was an email for being a co-host on 106 in Park. And that was always my dream.
What?
My dream, one of my dreams was like, yo,
Come
I could
on.
do. Once I started going into hosting, I was like, oh yeah, I can do 106 in
Yeah,
Park. And I
put that
never
on the
knew,
list. That's right. Put that on the list.
never knew that it would actually happen. It was virtual. I got to interview Keisha Cole,
Nice.
and I had a ball. And so I went from doing that to then becoming the host for the tournament, for the conference that the coach told me I'll never be good enough to touch the floor for.
CI?
So I have hosted the CIAA tournament for the last 6
CIAA, baby.
years.
Which by the way,
Baltimore.
for those who's listening, is in Baltimore.
Yes,
it
is.
It's in Baltimore. So
yes, it is. Next 3 years.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Y'all holding it down. So let's make sure they keep it there, because you know Charlotte was a little far for a few folks. You know what I'm saying?
We'll see.
So,
we'll see, but it's gonna be interesting. We got a lot of great things happening. I can't say.
Yeah.
But
Now keep it on the rest, because by the time
I can say. By being faithful, I'm now being able to be fruitful.
Come on.
Yeah. So yes, I can at least say that.
I love it. I love
it. So it changed. So as I still was going through, I'm now in this new world of doing what I'm doing. It's like, yo, okay, I'm still hurt because now I'm hosting. I'm doing something that I love doing even more now, and I still get that feeling like when I'm running out of the starting lineup.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but every time I watched the game, I was hurt. Because I'm like, yo, I still can play.
Yeah.
I still can go.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with me, man.
Yeah.
I never got so I never fully enjoyed the gravity of what was happening in my life because
right.
I still wanted one thing.
Yeah, one more shot. You wanted one more shot.
And I didn't realize that I was still on the floor. Like sometimes we get in these moments where we're getting where we want to be. We say we want to touch the floor. Okay, cool. I touched the floor.
Yeah.
Like I know I can still go. I know I trained some of the people that got CIAA championship rings.
Right.
I know that can happen. But
yeah.
In 2017, I wrote my first book and it was called Reality Show Separately and did very well. But honestly, I had no marketing behind it. I never knew what I didn't want to. This was honestly, I never even called it a book. It was a personal journal that I had kept for myself to try to stop talking to other people about it.
You had to get it. You had to get it out. You had to be able to release. So listen, authors and aspiring authors, understand your very first project doesn't have to be that bestseller, but it can be the therapy that you need to get what trauma you've experienced off your chest.
Very much so.
I want you to hear what JayCee's saying, right? And so it's like most people think, okay, well, how much? This is what we get at self-published in 30 days. This is what they ask. How much money will how much will it take for me to get my money back? I don't know. Man. I don't know what you're willing to do to get your money, right? But you're talking to publishers, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we can guide you in the marketing aspect, but the first things first. We're not talking about putting the cart before the horse. You got to write the book first. So what I want you all, those of you who are listening, to hear JayCee saying is that she had to leverage her first book as a way to release the pain that she experienced from not one, not two, but 3 major setbacks in a game that she loved. And as a result, was able to put that in a book. And that helped her to, inspire some people with that.
Very much so.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, very much so. I was able to do a couple of book releases. I sold a couple of books. Like I said, it wasn't. Some things that you do in life are not for profit.
Right.
Some things that you do are just for you to be able to see that you can do it.
But it's a different type of profit though. And I have to talk to you about this because of what you said, you had to spend a couple of hours in the church on Sunday, right? So the reality is that the type of profit that you get may not be monetary, right?
Exactly.
But it does allow for you to leverage that social capital, right? You get to impact people's lives, and that is actually a lot more valuable than the financial, because the financial comes and goes, right?
Right.
But that personal impact, that lasts forever. Even the negative that buoy coach said to you, while it impacted you negatively, now because you was able to kind of twist it, and now as a speaker, I'm sure you're going into places and sharing your story. That's helping to uplift and impact some people because you was able to overcome, and now you're able to use that story to help other people overcome. Is that correct?
Yeah, very much so. And of course, see, the thing about it is sometimes, and I want to make sure I say this and make it as plain and clear as possible. Sometimes we get into these situations where we have all of these different things that we're good at.
Yeah.
And then the profit that we're supposed to get from it, we think it has to have some sort of dollar bill attached to it.
Right.
And because I've never been a person that really cared about money, I was like, don't know how that's gonna work. Right. So I never really looked for money out of it. I never put anything into it. And so now it's one of those things where the second book is out, and after the season talks about the entire story. And it also helps now athletes that were either just like me or have similar stories or just had a demise, suffered from trauma, don't understand who they are, still trying to find their way. Oh, because by the way, just because you passed the game doesn't mean that you dealt with what it is that you're dealing with.
That's right.
Or dealt with, what it is that you carry for so long, because we carry the weight for so long as an athlete. So the book is out on Amazon. It's called, After the Season. And it's an 8-step rebranding guide helping you to, rebrand yourself post-career.
I love it. It's so needed. It's so needed. And, somebody might say, well, hey, aren't there books like that already out? But here's the beautiful thing. There's 8 billion people in the world. You feel what I'm saying? Like, not every author is going to be able to touch. There's certain land that you can cultivate from that other people are not going to be able to cultivate. So the encouraging thing about what I'm hearing is, while there are other authors that may have their, like one of our colleagues here at Self-Publishing 30 Days, he has Thrive After Sports, and there's somebody else that has Life After Sports. But the fact is, they may not know or be in the same space that you're in. So you have to use what you've been given to impact the people that God has for you to impact, right? And so that's a message for you authors and aspiring authors. Like there's so many people that struggle. They look around, they scoreboard watch, right? They look at all these other people and say, well, why would I do this, or how can I be successful when there's so many other people that's doing what I'm doing? So here's the reality. You have a message that's unique to you, and there's certain people that will only listen to your message.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And then on top of that, not even, because I don't like when people say, let me piggyback, because all you do is say the same thing.
Right. Say the same thing. Yeah.
I don't want to say the same thing. I don't want to even come behind and shout out to Coach Vile, because she'll be like, yo, hold on. What are you trying to do?
Come on. Oh, we can't just throw Coach Val out there without tell him how we've been raised. Just
So for those who do not know, both of us are certified speakers under Dr. Eric Thomas himself. Better, you may know him as ET, the hip hop preacher.
The hip hop preacher.
Yeah, and we are game changers, and game changers help change the game for us, literally. And that's how we got connected. And understanding how to even deliver the messages of what we're giving you in this podcast right now, to be able to share in a more clear, concise, but even just real way. Like for me, I mean, I do radio for a living, but on top of that, helping the athletes to rebrand, I could talk all day, but if you still don't know how to talk, you're just running in circles.
Oh yeah, no question. So, that communication is critical. And so a lot of times, and what I learned was, I don't call yourself a speaker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the beautiful thing about what I do, I'm speaking, but I'm a podcast host, right? You know what I'm saying? I speak, but I'm the president of sales for a publishing company, right? So at the end of the day, your ability to communicate will get you into certain places that you might think, well, that's not what ET's doing. It's not about doing what ET's doing. It's about being a game changer, meaning in the area that you are in, change the game.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying? Like most people know me as the LinkedIn locksmith. Why? Because I'm unlocking the power of LinkedIn. So in that space, I'm changing the game. So it's important that we focus on that ability to communicate. And I'm sure that you mentioned that to athletes when you're working with them. Well, part of the branding is how do you promote yourself? So you were going to tell us a little bit about what Coach Val shared with you.
Yeah, Coach Val always gets on me. I'm her child at this point. But she'll, always tell us, like, at the end of the day, you got to make sure that you're coming across concise.
Right.
And you and don't try to, you don't have to oversell what's already real.
That's right.
You don't have to oversell what's already real. You don't have to, and then you can't control how people find you.
That's right.
So just put it out there.
That's right.
And so, with me, like I said, with doing the first book, man, I've had people that are 65 years old plus say, you helped me still start my business that I've been wanting to do since I was 25, 30.
Come on.
And here I am at that time. I'm probably 24 at that time. And I'm like, 26, whatever. And I'm like, yo, how does this work? Like, and so, this newfound level of influence allows you to still feel like you're shooting 3-pointers, or like you're running touchdowns, or you just moving the chains, or you passing the baton, or, you're hurdling, or whatever it might be for you, whatever that sport is. Find something that allows you to still feel like you're running from out of the starting lineup. Because the starting lineup for anybody, and every athlete faces this, we lose our identity because it's wrapped into the jersey that we wear.
That's right.
Even without our name being on the back of the jersey, because some conferences, they're just too cheap to put your name on the back. We're gonna talk about that. But I just firmly believe that at the end of the day, no matter what, that you're giving your all for your last name, even if they can't see your last name, which I firmly believe that most schools, if not every school, needs to put the last name of the kid.
Oh, no question. Not at all.
I could talk about that for days.
Yeah. That's another conversation.
Yeah. But I firmly believe understanding that when the jersey is off, you find another jersey to put on. Just because most people, I'm a diehard Lakers fan, right? Everybody sees Magic Johnson and they see it, right? But when he had to come out with his announcement about how he was HIV positive, you still see his jersey in the rafters. But you don't know that he's also the reason why Grambling State University has their dining facility. So you don't see why Starbucks is moving the way it is because of a black man that put his money behind. It's at Magic Johnson theaters, whether there's one left or whether it was 100 when he started. At the end of the day, there's another way to see yourself. And he still walks around like it's his jersey and he's still hearing his name.
And he has owner because he's gotten he was with the Dodgers and, what I'm saying, and making moves with some other teams. So, and even being able to come into leadership for the team that he played for, you know what I'm saying? So there's so many opportunities. I want you all that are listening to catch this, right? There's so much life after whatever your adversity was, right? So if you're stuck in adversity, don't stay stuck. Like I heard a speaker say one time, if you're going through crap, keep going. Like, don't just stand there and sniff it up. Like, keep going. Like, keep going. But then don't forget, and we're gonna land the plane here. Please don't forget the story. So what you should be learning from JayCee, if not for nothing, is that even though she had the pain, she had the adversity, she had the struggle, she did not forget the story. And so it's the story that's not only going to encourage you, because sometimes you got to encourage yourself, right? You got to encourage yourself. So you got to, and that's what your first book did. It helped you to encourage yourself. But then when you put that out to the marketplace, authors, right? There are going to be other people that need you. I tell people all the time, there's an article that I curated on LinkedIn from a gentleman named Dr. Miles Monroe. Rest in peace, Dr. Monroe, right? And it talked about how your gift will make room for you. right?
Mm.
So one of the strategies that I teach my clients is to make sure that they put out quality articles on LinkedIn, whether it's yours or someone else's. Now, make sure you give other people their credit, right? Don't be going there jacking JC's book. And don't do that, because she's gonna come for you, right? She's gonna take it, she's gonna take it up, she's gonna take it to the hole on you, right? Don't do it. Right? But so when I curated that, JC, in 2015, to this day, I'm still getting hit up on LinkedIn from people who have found it on Google when they type in gift make room.
Wow.
They think I wrote the article, and I was like, no, I didn't write it. That's Dr. Miles Monroe. However, because I understood the power of another man's message, and I was willing to be the beacon or the vessel to share it. Right. Just like with this podcast.
Right.
Like, what my thing is, I'm the connector. I want to put people in a position to tell their story. So prayerfully, somebody's going to hear this that probably didn't know you existed, and they're going to buy several copies of your book, or they're going to invite you to come and speak, or they're going to say, hey, listen, we heard you hosting. Like, we looked you up on Google. We heard you. Can you come in and I'm sure you getting a little bit more than $1,500 to do some hosting right now. 100%. So you know what I'm saying? So like, price went up. You know what I'm saying? Price went up. You feel me? So my prayer is that as you operate in your gift, and I'm talking to you directly, JC, as you operate in your gift, that there'll be so many more lives that will be touched that in 2011, 12, 13, 14, when you was going through your struggle, they probably wasn't even born yet. Yeah. You feel me? Because as you telling your story, I'm like, dang, son, I graduated from college in 2004. So I'm thinking about the timeline. I'm like, where the heck was I? Where the heck was I in 2014? Oh, I know exactly where I was at in 2014. Matter of fact, I knew exactly where I was in 2015 when I was going through my trauma. And that's how I found Eve, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's another story. But the point I'm making is there's some people that wasn't even born when you went through your go through, that they're gonna discover you, and as a result, it's gonna be worth it, right? So if you didn't go through that, you couldn't touch those people. You couldn't reach out to those people. So kudos to you. Give us the name of the book again, and tell us how can people find you for the book? How can people find you if they want to book you to speak, if they want to get you to come and host? Give us the deets on all of that as we land the plane.
Yeah, so the book is called After the Season. You can get it on Amazon by JayCee Ruffin. After the Season, it's the 8-step rebranding guide for athletes post-career. I promise you, this book I put everything in this one. I put everything. I put so much game in this book. I really should like rethink how much game I put in this book, man. Because I put so much in.
It's gonna come back to you though, because here's the reality. I heard there's a brother, I won't mention his name because I love him, but I'm just not gonna mention his name.
I got you.
But this brother, he wrote a book, and I found the book in Black Enterprise.
Okay.
So as I'm reading about the book, I'm like, oh, this is pretty dope, right? So I buy the book. This brother comes to Richmond to speak, and the majority of his keynote was stuff that was in the book. So I'm sitting in the audience like, hold up, bro. I heard that story. Okay, I heard that story.
Read that.
And I'm looking around and I'm like, yo, is this some bull? Like, bro, I ain't need to sit here and listen to you talk. I read, but here's the aha. My man coming to me, aha. 99% of the people in the audience didn't read the book.
Nope.
So guess what he did after he finished speaking?
He
told everybody to go to the back and get the book.
Yeah,
so the game is the game. You got a bunch of game in there. So what people need to do is either hear you speak, so then they can do what? Get the book. But then even if you got the book, if you got the book, go ahead and speak, because there's a certain way that she's going to unlock certain things.
Oh yeah.
Especially given your situation. So that's good. That's good that you put that game in there.
The top it off always is hearing it actually talked out like that. The way I deliver messages is uncommon on purpose, because of the fact that and we can get out of here. I'm gonna say it just like this. So the way that I do it is because I'm the only girl on both sides of my family. So everything I've ever done has had a male perspective or male touch to it because I never had it. Is aside from my mother, is me.
Yeah.
All of my cousins are guys. So all of the sports that I played, everything I did, I was rough, rugged, and I played at a different pace than most women.
Yeah.
So I've never been that one to get up there and try to be cute. Listen, I'm coming in my hoodie and my J's, and you gonna get this work. That's how it always works. So the book After the Season on Amazon, and of course you can follow me at It's JayCee Ruffin on all social media platforms. It's the best way to get at me, the best way to book me, the best way to talk to me, and just reach out, man. You know, I think I'm pretty likable.
Yeah. Your energy is crazy. I listen. I knew from the moment we met. I said, hold up. I got to stay connected. Then we got that divine. Then we got that divine nine connection. I said,
yes, we do.
We got to stay connected. So listen.
Yes, we do.
As we land the plane, one last question, and I'll let you go. When it comes to writing the third book, say for example, that third book could start welling up in your spirit, and you got the opportunity to travel anywhere in the world to write that book, where would you go if I was paying for it?
Oh man. I probably would go one of two places. If I had to stay stateside.
No. It's wherever. I'm paying for it.
Well, one or two places. One of two places.
Okay.
Vegas.
Okay.
Most people be like, what? Like, trust me, it's a reason why.
Yeah.
Vegas, or I would go to Tulum.
Tulum. I've never heard of that. Like nobody. I've asked a lot of people that question. You're the first person that mentioned Tulum, so that's dope.
We'll go to Tulum
that's
simply
dope.
Because Vegas. I know where to go in Vegas. To not be distracted.
Yeah.
And then Tulum is simply open space.
I got it.
So I know how to navigate. I know how to get inspiration from Vegas. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Tulum, I've never been. And it's a space that it just looks so open to the point where the creativity that can stem from being somewhere different.
Yeah.
And out of your comfort zone.
I love that. Thanks for sharing something new with me. Listen, for those of you who are watching, you've heard one of the best, right? So JayCee Ruffin, listen, make sure you go out and support. Check her out on social media. Check her out on Amazon. Go grab a couple copies of her book. And when you book her, as a result of listening to this podcast, make sure you tell her, say, listen, man, we heard you talking to YB on the Author Spotlight. Listen, this is the year for your new book authors, aspiring authors. Leverage this story to go out and make something happen. Use your pain and allow it to push you to greatness, as Dr. E.T. says all the time. And remember, be encouraged, be blessed, but most of all, continue to share your faith, because by doing that, you're going to unlock somebody else's ability to be faithful, because your gift will make room for you. We'll see you on the next episode. God bless. Peace.